The graph below depicts the creation of water channels and how they can be produced. We can see a meander in the first photo, and there are many trees along the meander. There is also a neck in the middle of the meander. However, when we move to the next stage, the sand becomes deposited in the river and eventually, it becomes silt around the river neck. Thus there is a new channel has created, and a new oxbow lake has begun to flow in this direction. To summarize, water and sand pressures are required to sculpt the channels of the oxbow lake. Several Australian cities' cost of living is shown in the table below, with comparisons made between 2016 and 2017. For the second year running, Perth was the most expensive city to live in, while Alice Springs, which placed second in 2016, dropped to fifth in 2017. As a whole, Perth has always been the most costly city, whereas Alice Springs has traditionally been the least expensive. Computer, internet, and broadband access percentages for all homes in the United States are shown in this bar graph, which spans the years 1998 to 2009. The graphic shows that each category has grown over time. In light gray, the percentage of people who have access to computers rises from roughly 50% in 1998 to about 75% in 2009. In addition, the percentage of people who have internet connection has increased from 15% in 1998 to 70% in 2009, which is a significant rise. In 2004, just 10% of households had access to broadband. By 2009, that figure had risen to 60%. Finally, the graph provides a wealth of information on internet access in the home. The number of legislation in Brazil from 1953 to 1993 is shown in a line graph. Since 1953 to 1963, the number of legislation has stayed around the same at around 100. After that, from 1963 to 1983, it gradually increased from 100 to 1,200 people per square mile. At 1,200, it remained, only to soar to 2,400 by the end of that year. To summarize, during the past 4 decades, the number of laws has grown steadily. The two-color vertical bar chart displays data on whether people retire at the appropriate age or retire too soon. The x-axis displays the years from 1998 to 2006, while the y-axis displays the number of retirements that occurred over those years, with figures ranging from 0 to 20,000. The graph clearly demonstrates an increasing pattern, with the length of the bar progressively increasing throughout the years depicted. In 1998, when over 5,000 persons retired, the majority of them behaved in accordance with their age rather than prematurely. As the years passed, both preterm and elderly persons expressed an equal desire to retire. The graph below shows information regarding a floor layout. A main hall, an office, a kitchen, and restrooms are among the features. The main hall, which is in the upper portion of the design, may be seen in this graph. The restrooms for males and females are located on the right side of the layout, as seen in this graph. This graph shows that there is a disabled toilet in the bottom right corner, which is marked with a wheelchair sign. A kitchen is located at the bottom left corner, and an office is located in the center of the layout, as seen in this graph. Finally, this graph is quite useful. A youngster might become a victim of several forms of bullying actions at school on a regular basis. The majority of them are name-calling and insults, which account for 80% of the events, followed by shoving/hitting, 39%, threats, 38%, spreading rumors, 29%, internet bullying, 27%, involving friends, 24%, and homophobic comments, 24%. 20%. Fighting, sexual comments, exclusion, racial comments, destroying property, theft, and weapon-related offenses account for 16%, 14%, 13%, 11%, 9%, 6%, and 4% of all bullying episodes, respectively. Three huge, feet-tall skyscrapers are seen in the photograph. The tallest building in Taipei is the 1,670-foot Taipei 101. This is the smallest of the three, with a height of 1,450 feet. As for Kuala Lumpur, the Petronas Towers 1 and 2 clock in at 1,483. While Sears Tower is the smallest, Taipei 101 is the highest. The pie charts compare the proportion of carbohydrates, protein and fat in three different diets, namely an average diet, a healthy diet, and a healthy diet for sport. It is noticeable that sports people require a diet comprising a significantly higher proportion of carbohydrates than an average diet or a healthy diet. The average diet contains the lowest percentage of carbohydrates but the highest proportion of protein. To summarize, carbohydrates will remain as the major factor in a diet for individuals, with approximately half of vital nutrients. In 1980, 1990, and 2000, the table shows the average yearly salary for bachelor degree holders in various areas. The yearly salary of business degree holders increased from $91,000 in 1980 to $105,000 in 2000, making them the highest earning workers of all time. In 1980, language and literature degree holders earned $64,000, $71,000 in 1990, and $80,000 in 2000, respectively. Graduates in the field of business made the most money, while those in the field of language and literature made the least. The given line graph shows monthly rainfall in inches in 4 different months. In April, the rainfall was 6 inches, and after that, there was a decrease in rainfall. In the month of May, it was 3 inches, and in June it increased by 1 inch and reached to 4 inches. In the month of July, the rainfall was only 1 inch. So, overall a diminishing trend can be seen in the rainfall from April to July. Students who worked between the ages of 14 and 18 are depicted in this bar graph. In the 14-year-old age group, 24 kids did not work, while only 1 student did. A total of 14 pupils in the 16-year-old age group opted out of working, while 11 kids did. 3 students in the 18-year-old age group were unemployed, while 22 students were employed. Overall, the number of pupils who worked grew as they grew older. Two different types of woods may be seen all around the world on this map. To distinguish between evergreen and deciduous woods, the color green is used for evergreen forests and red for deciduous forests, which are found mostly in North America and nations located around equator. In general, it appears that evergreen forests are more prevalent in the West while deciduous forests are more prevalent in the East around the globe. The given line graph shows monthly rainfall in inches in 4 different months. In April, the rainfall was 6 inches and after that, there was a decrease in rainfall. In the month of May, it was 3 inches and in June it increased by 1 inch and reached to 4 inches. In the month of July, the rainfall was only 1 inch. So, overall a diminishing trend can be seen in the rainfall from April to July. This picture depicts the distribution of water over the Earth. There is 98% salt water and just 2% fresh in the world's water, according to the graph. In terms of fresh water, ice accounts for 87% of the total, with groundwater accounting for the remaining 13%. Only 1% of land is covered by waterways like rivers and lakes. Finally, the figure shows the distribution of water resources in a clear and concise manner. Over the course of 5 years, the pie charts show online sales for 4 Canadian retail industries. It's worth noting that food and beverage sales went up by 32% and video game sales went up by 23%, respectively. There has been a decline in the sales of electronics, appliances, and home furnishings, which fell from 25% to 15% and 35% to 30% respectively. Overall, food and beverage sales grew the greatest, while home furnishings sales fell the most. This graph shows the total number of students that participated in high school athletics from 1971 to 2010. Boys' participation increased from 3.6 million to 4.4 million between 1971 and 1977, then dropped to almost 3.4 million before rising to 4.5 million in 2009. Girls' participation increased from 400,000 to 2 million between 1971 and 1977, then dropped to almost 1.9 million before rising to 2.6 million in 2009. This pattern holds true for both genders. In 2012, the graph illustrates the percentage of the population living in poverty by age and gender. When it comes to females, the graph shows that the biggest percentage is seen among those under the age of 18, at around 22.3%. The graph shows that the second largest number is in, with an approximate value of. On the graph, about is the smallest number, which can be discovered. To sum everything up, this is a helpful diagram. Unleaded gasoline prices in the United States and Canada are shown in pennies per gallon on the graph. To begin with, The price of gasoline in the United States has fluctuated over time, peaking in 2008 at $4 per gallon, while the price of gasoline in Canada also reached a record high in 2008, at $3.50 per gallon. The price of gasoline in the United States is often higher than in Canada, despite the fact that both nations' fuel costs have risen in recent years. In 2011, the states with the highest quality of life were those on this list. The state of New Hampshire continues to be the most livable in the U.S., a title it has held since 2007. Utah has risen 2 positions from 2007 to take second place on the list. 2007 and 2011 saw Wyoming take the 3rd and 4th spots, respectively. The state of North Dakota has risen 3 ranks to 10th on the list since 2007. Overall, certain states have risen and fallen in the rankings of the best places to live, while others have remained the same.